The Trivela is the best way to score from outside the box, especially against those opponents who just sit back and do absolutely nothing and don't move their players out of position. So if you're struggling to score a goal and you're facing a very defensive opponent, Simeone ball player, then Trivela is the best thing to do. Now for Trivelas, you don't even need the playstyle. Mia Hamm has scored countless Trivelas for me, and as you can see, she doesn't even have the great playstyle for Trivela. Odegaard does have the great playstyle, and obviously it does make it better. However, if you just do it properly, you don't even need to have the actual trait. Rayton has the playstyle plus version of it, so she's insane when it comes to Trivelas. But like I said, Mia Hamm scores countless for me. She doesn't even have it. Maradona doesn't even have it. And honestly, Maradona is probably my favorite Trivela player to use on my team currently. He scores countless Trivelas. Like out of these 135 goals he scored, I want to say at least 100 of them are Trivelas. And I'm not even exaggerating that. He is incredible with Trivelas. But anyways, let's get into the video. I'm going to show how to use it with precision shooting first, and then on assisted. I do think that for Trivela, you absolutely need time finishing. I have experimented with it, and it's not impossible to score. It's just you will score so little that it's not even worth taking the shot. As for practicing, I would just go into a squad battles match. Super simple. Play any opponent that you want. It doesn't really matter. I'll just play this one. Do amateur, even the lowest, doesn't matter. And before somebody says in the comments, oh, like you're playing amateur, that's why it's going in. No, I promise you no. And if you want proof of it, you can watch my VODs. They're uploaded on YouTube as well for my streams. And I score a million Trivelas. So I promise you, I absolutely promise you. I just wanted to add, I forgot to say this last time, but last week I didn't explain the controls. Literally all you need to do is hold L2 and circle, right, to get the Trivela animation. Super simple, right? Back button, the jockey button, and then shoot, whatever your shoot button is, circle on PlayStation, right? You can see on my controller up on the screen. As soon as I pass it all the way back, look at my controller, I just grab it, right? I'm holding L2 and shoot and bang, right? Super simple. That's how you do the Trivela. Enjoy the tutorial. Let me know if you got any questions. So just go into this so that you can shoot a million times, and then you will be chilling. So let me put on the controller overlay so that you guys can see. And I have a little tip and a secret for it. So it's super simple to score Trivelas, right? So when we get the ball here with Mia Hamm, right, we want to aim it, right? And that's not even green time. So here's why I say it's very important to even have this when you're not green timing, is just to time it makes it more accurate. Now, what did I do there? So if we go ahead, and let me pause first. If we go ahead and just take a look at the recent gameplay, right? Say the last 30 seconds, right? We get into this position right here. So you see where I'm aiming. The way I'm aiming is the direction that Mia Hamm is facing. So when you're aiming a Trivela, especially with precision shooting, I think you have to do the same for assisted as well. But for precision shooting, aim in the direction that your player is facing. So literally straight ahead. I usually used to say, like, for visuals, you know, aim for the back mesh where the two meshes meet at the back of the net. But no, literally aim exactly where you're facing. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. Now, I put almost 3 bars of power fully. I usually do 3 to 3.5 bars of power, and then from there, if you just time it, I promise you it'll be more accurate. You get that animation even if you do not green time it, which is why I say use time finishing. If you don't use time finishing, I recommend turning it on literally only for Trivelas, because I've tried, and I've tried it. That's why you saw, like, I had 2 games played. If I just Trivela regularly, I get that animation, which is not the animation you want, right? And I've tried countlessly, and the only times I've been able to Trivela are like here, and maybe score from there, from like very close. But even that, I still don't get, and I really don't change anything except for the fact that I time it. Now, as for timing it, there really isn't many tips to time it, right? In terms of timing it, it's just kind of like knowing how long it takes. I usually like to think it's like a second, but you can literally just stare at your player and then bang, right? It literally goes in every single time. So I aim straight where Vitinha was going, and then I just look. As soon as he's gonna hit the ball, you just shoot it. So the good thing about being here in squad battles is that you can literally do it 1,000 times. You can just keep going, right? These players like pretty much don't move, and then you can spam it 1,000 times, right? I can even do it from that far out. Obviously, I'm extremely far out, which is why the goalie gets a save. But that animation is the animation you want to get. Some more tips, guys, on how to like score Trivelas. You want to make sure that it's on your strong foot, right? Obviously, you can't hit an outside of the foot shot. If your player's right-footed, he can't hit an outside foot shot on the left side of the field, right? So that's just one big thing. So usually that's why people have wingers that are left-footed on the left side, so that you can score a Trivela, right? Odegaard, for example, is here, right? He can score the Trivela. Bang, green time. and unfortunately it hit the bar, so I think I just put too much power on it, right? That'll happen sometimes, but most of the times it'll go in, right? Same thing over here, Mia Hamm, right side of the field. Doesn't matter where it is, as long as you have that angle where you can be a little bit diagonal, it will go in every time, right? You can shoot it more centrally, you can shoot it super wide, and you could even get it like in ridiculous positions wide. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to hit this first time because it's not that easy, but like if you're here, you can score Trivelas as well, right? I didn't time that properly, but you can Trivela from there as well. Usually off a bar roll is really good, even off the corner. I've done it before. It's just not, it's not the best place, you know, like that is definitely a lot harder. Whereas it's a lot easier to do it when your player's slightly angled and you can just aim the joystick straight. Whereas there, you still have to aim the joystick straight. It's just at a very crazy angle. So best parts to shoot Trivela is usually in this area, because as long as you're there, right, it goes in every time. As long as you're slightly shifted, great time to do it. In the central area of the field is very good as well, as long as you're just slightly to the right or left, depending who you're shooting the Trivela with. It works really well. And my last tip to give is that if you're sprinting into a Trivela makes it 10 times more accurate. I don't know what it is. It makes it so much easier. Maybe it's because you time it, but it makes it a lot easier. There, I didn't time it properly, right? I'm not perfect, but most of the time I will green time it. So it happens. If I make mistakes, you might make mistakes as well, but for the most part, you'll get it almost every time. So those are the best places to do it. When you're sprinting, I'm telling you, I've scored a bunch of Trivelas with Theo, right? Yes, my left back. I've scored it with my center backs, right? If you're just sprinting, you let go of sprint and then you take the shot, right? I didn't even green time it, but it still went in. Why? Because I timed it. That's why I'm saying time finishing, super, super important. Now that we've covered that, let's do it with assisted shooting. Now, I actually think it's easier with assisted shooting. However, I do think that it goes in more times when you use precision shooting. So let's go ahead and change the setting right now. Hit assisted and let's do it. All right. Assisted shooting, same thing, right? You want to like see the same principle. If you want to put your controller on the screen, you can just go into the settings and do it, right? Super, super easy. I have my settings video if you want to turn it on. I don't always play on it, but for the sake of tutorials, I will put it on. Now, same thing, right? If you look at the controller on the screen, look at where I'm aiming. I'm trying to aim in a straight line, goes in every time. This one's easier because even if you're like slightly off, it'll still work, right? So you just want to make sure that you're aiming where your player's facing and in a straight line, right? You aim in a straight line where your player's facing, put enough power, green time it, bang, super easy, right? And if you don't use, you know, time finishing, turn it on, please. Especially if you're not on precision shooting. All you need to do is just focus on like half aiming it right, and then you can time it and you'll be fine, right? I red timed it there, it didn't work. But if you practice the timing, I promise you it will get a lot easier. It's not too difficult to time outside of the box. Inside of the box, you can just not use it. Don't use it, right? If you think it's too hard, that's okay. Don't use it. I get it. Time finishing can be tough, especially in those tight situations when your players are taking like heavy touches, right? If I'm in this situation and I'm trying to take a shot, right, it might miss and you might red time it. That's okay. But for Trivelas, it really isn't that difficult to time it, and it is very, very easy to practice it, right? Going into the squad battles match, right? It's not even the first half. It's not even the first half, and I've already taken what? I've scored 7, and I've probably already taken like 10, maybe 10 Trivelas, something like that, right? So I've had so many times and so many options in like situations I've been able to create and just practice it, right? There you go. Once again, I got the right animation. Now you might say, oh, it's because the goalie is worse, so there's no chemistry in squad battles, you're playing a low difficulty. That animation happens to the best goalies in the game as well, especially Casillas. I know a lot of people use Casillas because he was an SBC. The reason I don't like Casillas is because he gets Trivela'd a lot more. The only goalkeeper that might not have gone in on is Courtois. I hate that card, right? Courtois is crazy. But literally every card, like any other goalie, that would go in on, right? And you can do it with Mycon as well. For example, if I run in a straight line, unfortunately, I ran a bit too far. I got a little scared. But you can do it with literally any player, right? Let's go ahead, go with Mycon again, right? We can run, and bang, right? Goal. That's my right back. Now, he does have high shooting, so if you don't want me to do a Theo, I'll do it with Theo. And this is, again, unassisted. Just make sure you're aiming straight from where your player is, right? And this is why I say sprinting, it makes it easier, right? And, oh, come on, man. Get out of the way. There we go. And once again, he's in the way. I'm going to see if I can give it to Theo again. Come on, Theo, come here. Right, get into these positions. Like in an online game, if your opponent gives you this time and space, go ahead and take it. A lot of times, it's also really good to trigger a run, right? If you trigger a run, and your opponent's like kind of covering it, it gives you the space to run into space and Trivela. Unfortunately there, I got fouled, pushed me off balance, and I kind of messed up. But I promise you, every goal Theo has for me is literally comes from a Trivela. Like, it's really, really dumb. I know. And he doesn't get up forward, which is why he doesn't have that many. But when he does, and same with Mycon, you best know that they're shooting that Trivela. Do it again. Give it to Theo. Right? You can practice it with different angles, right? If you attack with your fullbacks, you can practice with different angles. Bang. Green time. Hit the post. It was a tighter angle, but it hit the post, right? Tighter angle, still hit the post. But you can see, as long as you get the animation, it will be a goal probably 90% of the time. And then just practice it, experiment with it. You can go wider. You can get into harder positions, right? Like, for example, I said this position can work, right? You just, unfortunately, it's really difficult against the AI sometimes when it's lower difficulty. But even here, right, you do that inside ball roll, and I messed up the Trivela. But just by clicking L2, super, super simple, right? Again, squad battles, keep going over here. Mia Hamm, I'm sprinting, and bang. Oh, come on, hit her face. Well, as AI, sometimes it's hard to get the ball. So it's hard to get the ball sometimes on the AI. Look at that, Mary Earps, a goalkeeper, is dribbling past me. All right, go here, same thing, bang. Perfect animation, nice little curl. I'm pretty sure you get the crazy curl and height if the player has Trivela, the Trivela trait. Either way, like I said, I've shown it with players that don't have Trivela. Super simple. Bang. Every time. Literally every time. That's the sweet spot that I like to use. I would recommend that spot the most. Big sweet spot. And same thing with sprinting, right? You're sprinting and then bang, right? Just make sure you put a lot of power on it. Another good thing about using the time finishing is if you put a lot of power on it, you can time it, and it'll probably go in anyways. So you can pretty much put 3.5 bars of power. You can like blast the ball a lot more. That is the benefit to time finishing in comparison to not using it. So it makes it a lot easier. That's pretty much it. You just go into squad battles. I'm up 13-0. I probably should finish the game anyways, but that's gonna be it for the video today, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about Trivela. Let me know if you need other positions to do. But remember, that you're just on the left side for the left-footed player, right side for the right-footed player. Look at where your player's aiming, where he's facing directly straight. Shoot it like that, and then practice the green timing it. Practice makes perfect. Go into a squad battle match. You'll figure it out. Doesn't take long. Green timing is literally just when you, right on the contact, you just press green time. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Defending tutorial is coming out soon, I promise you, and the L1 through ball. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.